Single dad hired a babysitter for his twin daughters, unaware she was the CEO's daughter in disguise. The night his world almost collapsed, the rain did not fall gently. It crashed against the windows like a warning, as if the sky itself was trying to remind him that life had never promised mercy. He stood alone in a dark kitchen, holding 2 small jackets in his trembling hands, knowing that tomorrow could decide whether his daughters would grow up feeling safe or forgotten. What he did not know, as exhaustion weighed down his soul, was that a single decision made out of desperation was about to change every broken piece of his life forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet miracles that arrive when hope feels impossible, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel Single Dad Diaries, where stories of resilience and love find a home. He had never imagined his life would narrow down to survival mode. Once, he had been a man with ordinary dreams, a steady job, and laughter echoing through his small apartment. Then loss came without warning, carving silence into every room. Becoming a single father to twin daughters was not something he had planned, yet it became the center of his existence. Every morning began before sunrise, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. He prepared lunches with tired hands, tied shoelaces with aching fingers, and whispered silent promises to his daughters that they would be okay, even when he himself was unsure. His life was an endless cycle of work, worry, and love stretched thin by fatigue. Money was always short. Bills stacked up faster than he could open them, and sleep became a luxury he could no longer afford. The twins were still young, curious, and full of energy, unaware of the weight their father carried. They laughed easily, trusted completely, and that trust was both his strength and his fear. He worked late hours, took extra shifts, and said no to rest because saying yes to rest felt like betrayal. Yet the day came when his job demanded more than he could give alone. His supervisor offered overtime that he could not refuse, but childcare options were far beyond his reach. Family lived far away, friends were struggling too, and daycare costs felt like a cruel joke. Posting an ad for a babysitter felt like admitting defeat. It was not pride that stopped him, but fear. Fear of trusting someone with his entire world. Fear of being judged for the state of his home, for his exhaustion, for the way grief still lingered in his eyes. When applications came in, most were either too expensive or too unreliable. Then one stood out. Simple. Polite. Modest expectations. The young woman who arrived at his door carried herself quietly, with calm eyes and gentle patience that felt strangely comforting. She did not ask questions that made him uncomfortable. She did not look around with judgment. She simply smiled, knelt to the twins' level, and listened. What he did not know was that behind her ordinary clothes and soft-spoken demeanor was a life completely opposite to his own. She was the daughter of a powerful CEO, raised in wealth, privilege, and endless opportunity. But privilege had also brought isolation. She had grown tired of being known only as an extension of her father's empire. She wanted to understand real life, real struggle, and real people. So she chose anonymity, taking on simple work under a false name, determined to see the world without protection or advantage. When she met the single father and his daughters, something inside her shifted. This was not a social experiment. This was humanity in its rawest form. Days turned into weeks, and the babysitter became part of the rhythm of their lives. She arrived early, left late, and never complained. She cooked simple meals, helped with homework, and turned ordinary evenings into moments of warmth. The twins grew attached quickly, finding comfort in her presence. Their father noticed changes he had not expected. The girls laughed more. The apartment felt lighter. Even he began to breathe easier, knowing his daughters were safe and cared for. He did not realize how much he needed someone to share the weight until it was finally lifted, even just a little. Still, life did not suddenly become easy. Challenges continued to rise. One night, exhaustion caught up with him, and he collapsed at work. Medical bills followed, threatening to undo all his progress. He tried to hide his fear, but the babysitter noticed. She saw the way his hands shook when he opened envelopes, the way his eyes lingered on his daughters as if memorizing their faces. She wanted to help, but revealing her identity felt like crossing a line she was not ready to face. Instead, she offered support in small, meaningful ways. She stayed longer without charging extra. She brought groceries, claiming they were leftovers. She listened when he needed to talk, never offering solutions, only understanding. As time passed, something deeper grew between them. Not romance in its dramatic sense, but trust. Respect. A shared understanding of responsibility and care. He began to open up about his fears, his guilt, and the loneliness that followed him everywhere. She absorbed his words quietly, carrying them back to a world he could not imagine. At night, she lay awake questioning everything she thought she knew about success and value. Wealth had never taught her what love looked like when it was tested daily. This man and his daughters were teaching her lessons no boardroom ever could. The truth eventually surfaced, not through her confession, but through circumstance. A sudden visit from her father's driver, a misplaced document, a moment she could not hide. The revelation struck him like a wave. Confusion, disbelief, and fear rushed in. He felt small, exposed, and foolish for not seeing it sooner. Questions flooded his mind. Why would someone like her choose a life like his, even temporarily? Had everything been an act? Had his struggles been observed like a story instead of lived alongside him? She did not defend herself with excuses. She did not speak of privilege or intention. She showed him, through her actions, that her care had always been real. She reminded him of every late night, every tear she had wiped away, every meal she had prepared with love. She explained that she had come looking for meaning and found family instead. That revelation did not erase his insecurity immediately, but it planted a seed. Slowly, he understood that dignity was not defined by income or status, but by the way people showed up for each other. When her father learned the truth, he was furious at first. His world was built on control and image. But seeing his daughter transformed, grounded, and passionate about something beyond profit forced him to confront his own emptiness. He met the single father expecting resentment and found humility. He saw a man who had lost everything and still gave everything. That meeting changed more than one life. Opportunities were offered, not as charity, but as recognition of character. Work that honored effort. Support that preserved pride. The single father's life did not turn into a fairy tale overnight. Healing took time. Trust rebuilt slowly. But stability returned. The twins thrived, surrounded by care and consistency. The babysitter, no longer in disguise, remained present, choosing connection over comfort. Together, they built something stronger than circumstance. A family defined not by blood or wealth, but by choice. As the story draws to a close, remember this. Sometimes the people who save us arrive quietly, without titles or promises. Sometimes miracles wear ordinary faces. If this journey moved you, if it reminded you that kindness still exists in unexpected places, please like this video, share it, and let us know your thoughts. Your engagement helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Before the ending, we have a special request. Please comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel, or share a moment when kindness changed your life. Your words matter more than you know. And if this story touched your heart, inspired you, or made you believe in second chances once again, don't forget to support the channel Single Dad Diaries by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Every interaction helps keep these stories alive, and reminds someone out there that they are not alone.